All right, I think let's move straight to our next conversation. Now, amid the economic hardship and digital glitches that dominated last year, financial transactions via electronic payments platforms rose nearly 80% to break the quadrillion mark for the first time in 2024. According to data released by the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, NIBS, specifically, e-payment transactions rose by nearly 80% above 600 trillion naira recorded in 2023 to hit 1.07 quadrillion, while the e-payment data showed a steady increase throughout the 12 months of the year. The highest value was recorded in December. Industry analysts believe that the surge in e-payment transactions can be linked to the recent cash crunch experience and the cashless policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria, limiting the amount of cash that can be withdrawn daily. Now, BKO, financial transactions via electronic payment system rising nearly by 80%. Well, is it safe to say that Nigerians are embracing the e-payments more instead of cash?
Yes, people are embracing it. In some cases, people don't have a choice. For example, if you are moving from, let's assume that the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is infested by bandits.
Okay.
And you needed to move money. Would you not prefer not to take cash so that all your hard work
cannot just be taken in one fell swoop?
By one idiot somewhere. So people are seeing the need. In fact, you know, the small-scale business entrepreneurs, they were the people whom we thought would find it difficult to embrace this. A lot of them uneducated, but they now know how to transfer money. They know how to receive money. For example, my yam seller from Kano, Rayano, is from Kano. I will ask him, give me your account details. He will say, first bar, first bar. That's his one way of saying first bar. He say, first bar. So he will dictate it to me. And everywhere it's like that. If I go to a Sunday market to buy yam, those guys are ready to sell yam for me. Collect their money electronically. They will ask you, do you want to give me cash? If you say you don't have cash, they will give you their account details, you transfer. If you have your POS, if you have your ATM card, the itinerant POS operators, they are there. They will help those guys, you know. And then, so more and more people. And then there's no doubt that apart from the security that doing business electronically gives you, the CBN has also made life difficult for our people. The banks too, generally. You go to the bank, you want to withdraw money, they tell you they can't give more than 20,000.
Yes.
But you can go to a POS operator who can give you even 200,000.
Exactly.
As long as you're prepared to pay. So people are embracing the electronic means of doing business in our country much more than at any time in our history. You know, this electronic banking was first introduced in a few states. I think they started with Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, you know, and I think one other state. But today, in every part of the country, even in rural areas, money is being sent to people, not in envelopes anymore. They transfer money to you. You then go, if you need cash, part of what was transferred to you, you can walk up to a POS operator in your village who will then make the money available to you. The POS operators have effectively taken over the role of the banks. When you go to banks these days, you don't see crowd anymore. Because what people used to go to the banks to do.
They can do it.
They can get the POS operators to do it for them. You won't see those long queues. They say maybe, okay, the day they are paying salary, some people will go in. Many people will still not even take their salary in the banks. They rather use the ATM galleries or go to a POS operator
and get the cash.
Get the cash. So, yes, it is true that last year was very difficult for Nigerians, you know, and the year before too. At the time when they were trying to do this
Naira
recoloring, many people had to find it difficult to access cash.
Yes.
So now they know that it's best to just do your stuff electronically. Before you see people holding wads of Naira notes now, except those people who show up, they go to Wasiu in these shows.
Why is it Wasiu? Is it the only artist that you go spray?
There to go and spray him money. I know that one woman was singing, he said people are abusing Wasiu. That usually when they start singing, they are usually the ones who spray money the most. You know? So, except that's the only time you see people with cash, except at parties where they want to show up.
And those ones are even those people that change.
Without those parties, without those parties, you won't be seeing cash physically.
Okay, now let's talk about the issue of digital glitches. The capacity of banks to audit online transactions, avoiding transaction fees online. How do we enhance?
If they can make all of this money, if this, that means that it's just minimal. It's exaggerated.
It's minimal. You think it's exaggerated?
What we have to agree is that we have to commend the central bank. Especially including all the past governors of central bank, starting from
MLS?
That introduced this cashless policy, and especially Emefiele, who actually forced us to accept that cashless policy. So because of that, we've had the kind of culture that Biko explained, that everybody now, but another thing that helped that is that recently there are a lot of young, brilliant Nigerians that have created a lot of tech ops and are doing this. One of the things that made it to succeed is that there are a lot of platforms now.
Yes.
Payment platforms.
Fintechs, all those fintechs.
The payment platforms that now encourage this. So you can now, it's not that it's only one, you don't need to depend on just one platform from the banks. There are a lot of platforms.
If not for them, the old pace of this world, the money points of this world.
Exactly.
And people find it easier to access money through
because they are faster. They're faster.
True.
They are faster. Their server is better. So, you know, because the banks, their server, apart from, it does too many things. It's used for so many things within the bank. Whereas this platform is just for that digital payment. So they contributed largely to what we are enjoying now. Okay, and it's nice. For the glitches, we will get there, because the problem, you see, technology has to do with what, for example, why is it that OPay and on money point are doing slightly better than banks?
Let's not advertise.
No, sorry. Sorry, okay, why is that some platforms? Let's just say that. Why is it that some platforms, it seems to be doing better? Because their server is not even here.
Okay.
Their main server is not even here. And because of internet and all that, all this digital platform is anchored on internet. It depends on the level of internet available to those places. And part of the problem that the banks have is that because of this brain drain, a lot of tech officers.
Okay, their tech experts have actually left.
They have left. In fact, now, some of these banks, they have like kind of agreement with these tech officers. They're abroad. They're working abroad. But they still work for them to help them to solve their problems on their platforms and all that. But you know, the time difference, that is why sometimes it doesn't work in some areas when those guys maybe are sleeping in the areas where they are. And by the time they wake up in the morning and start working online with them, things get better. You know, so those glitches will get that because it has to do with technology. And when you look at it, like I said, because of the brain drain, if you notice, a lot of banks, they did upgrade recently.
Yes,
that caused
and it
a lot of
affected
problems.
a whole lot.
And they're saying they want to use something that is more homegrown and all that and the stuff. But we'll get there.
Okay.
It's just like
just a matter of time.
Yes, it's just like the initial hiccups that we had when they started this cashless policy. And now everybody is using it. I think things will get better.
If we look at the figures, the increase in transactions is really staggering. It's a POS transactions soared from 10.73 trillion in 2023 to 19.4 trillion in 2024. Look at the 81% increase. Then the electronic payment transactions soared to an all-time high in 2024, moving from 600 trillion in 2023 to 1.08 quadrillion in 2024. You know, 600 to 1.08. That's almost double the yes, just close to being double what was achieved in 2023. So, and the volume of transactions processed by the NIBSS for the year also jumped from 9.7 billion in 2023 to 11.2 billion in 2024, which represents an increase of 15.5% in the volume of e-transactions for that year. There is no way that you look at it, you've got to come up with a judgment. The Nigerian economy is one full of promise.
Yeah.
If you are the daring type, say fortune favors the daring.
Sure.
If you are the daring type, Nigeria is a place to take a risk.
Yes, because majority of that increase that you're mentioning is outside the banking industry.
Yes.
The banking industry is one that use the MBBS thing. Most of the other increase outside the banking, all those fintechs.
Yes. So if you are prepared to take a plunge, because if you do not have the courage to take a plunge, you may regret it. But in Nigeria, if you have the courage and you are focused, the result is always a good one.
Exactly.
There's a woman that I met. You are going to see her story later on. She came to Nigeria to work as a staff of an NGO. She then felt, look, I've not challenged myself enough. And she went into farming. Today, she's the biggest female tomato farmer in our country.
Wow.
Yes. The average yield per hectare for tomato in our country is 5 metric tons. In her own farm, the average yield is 44 metric tons.
Wow.
That's several times higher.
Exactly.
And she employs 66% of her staff are women. So women who have been denied the chance to own farmlands in the north, they are working in her farm. And what she does is she tells them, look, we are going to share the produce from the farm. He has given them input, given them land. At the end of the day, she still allows them to take some of the, so they share the produce.
So she will sell and give them the part of the process.
Yes.
That's huge. That's serious.
They split it between her and those women. And those women, they are very rich. Look at the story that I did.
Yeah, that was on Friday. That was a big one.
That's just one part of Kaduna. If you go to Saminaka, all those places, you see how people are farming maize.
This just shows the Nigerian
billionaire
economy
farmers. It's not an exaggeration. You saw that one.
Yes. Very unassuming.
They were not even wearing good clothes. But one person produced 15,000 bags of rice in 1 year, and it's 55,000 per bag because it's paddy, it's not processed. It's 55,000. And then that comes to like 825 million.
Close to $1 billion.
Wow.
Yes.
Just for one farmer.
Yes, and it's not that thing alone that they farm. If you watch the program,
there's maize,
you still farm maize,
rice.
you still farm white beans. Even white beans was where he performed the poorest, and he still made 95 million. So, in the economy, our economy is such a promising one. And that's why investors want to come to Nigeria. In spite of the ill-bred Nigerians abusing their country all over the place, people still want to come here
and do business.
The person I'm talking about is an American who came here and said, look, I want to farm. Woman, a 40-year-old woman, I want to farm.
All right.
But the money will come. She's the one who owns tomato juice. I'm sure you've heard about tomato juice, this paste.
Okay.
Tomato,
okay.
Yes. So it's just what it takes. We need good leadership. We need consistent good leadership. This country, in the next few years, we won't even be able to predict where this country will get to, because the potential is boundless.
It's enormous. Exactly. All right, gentlemen, let's move